future. Yep. Time I hope our tribe can unify our race once more. You find what you seek in the Temple Revan, and then you'll help us as well. Not much to say, these guys, but so be it, so be it. It's fine. Less dialogue, the better. Sorta. Elder Rakata. Work of our people must go on to preserve our future. Keeper Orsaa, you're the man we were looking for. Greetings once again, Revan. I'm glad that you have returned. I couldn't believe that you had betrayed us, despite what the Council said. I'm sorry, I don't remember you. My name is Orsaa. I am the Keeper of History for the Elders. The last time you were here, you had many questions for me. The Council told us all of the destruction of your memories. But still I had hoped that you might recall something of our past discussion. Well, look on the bright side, Orsaa. We can have all those discussions again. Yes, I suppose that is true. As you can imagine, I have few opportunities to share my knowledge with those outside our enclave. Actually, I do have a few questions for you, if you wouldn't mind. Yes, of course. Although you must forgive me if some of this starts to seem familiar. After all, we did go into the history of the Rakata at some length the last time you were here. I will do my best to enlighten you with the knowledge I hold. What subject do you wish to learn about? Why don't we start with the beginnings of the Infinite Empire? Long ago, we Rakata were a great spacefaring people. Our ships combined technology and the power of the Force, and we were able to pilot them to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Everywhere we went, we found civilizations less advanced and weaker than our own, but instead of helping them advance, we conquered and enslaved them. Back then, we could still command the Force. That, combined with our technology, made our march of conquest irresistible. Soon the Infinite Empire stretched across the entire galaxy. Over time, we lost our ability to use the Force. Some believe we had used the Force for so long that we evolved biologically and became immune to its effects. In any case, once we lost our sensitivity to the Force, our empire began to fracture. We had to revert to more conventional space travel using inferior technology. Our ultimate collapse was inevitable. So how did the Infinite Empire collapse then? Long ago, the Rakata ruled all the known galaxy. All the species bowed down to us, except humans. Very notable. But we were a corrupt people, and in our fall from glory, there are terrible lessons that must be learned. The Infinite Empire was built on slaughter. It was inevitable it should collapse upon itself. War, plague, and slave rebellion forced us to retreat back here to our own hidden homeworld. Here, conflict among power-hungry warlords escalated into full civil war. Terrible weapons of mass destruction were unleashed, driving most of the Rakata far beneath the earth for shelter. So yeah, exactly, we just had it confirmed here. Devastation ravaged the world. Our people were scattered, our cities leveled, our very existence all but erased. The glory of the Infinite Empire is now nothing but dust and bones. In the past few thousand years, small bands of Rakata have begun to return to the surface, but they are primitive and superstitious creatures. Only we elders remember anything of the true past. Yeah, so all of that stuff that we learned from the One's tribe is just a load of hooey. Well, at least it's, you know, it has its, like everything, like all myths, it has a basis in truth. But it was the Rakata themselves that caused the deluge that drove them all underground to hide from the nuclear holocaust or whatever it was that came down upon them and changed their world. But Yeah, I mean... Imagine if I went back through that with... Karth, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Why you gotta do these things? Why you gotta wreck my train of thought? I don't know why he's gotta do that. Stupid AI. I'd like to ask you about something else. We'll put all that on the back burner. We'll talk about that later. I'll do my best to enlighten you with the knowledge I hold. What subject do you wish to learn about? Tell me about the tribe of the Elders, then. The Elders are descendants of the Holy Priest caste of the Infinite Empire, survivors of the terrible weapons unleashed by the warlords during the final collapse of our empire. Inside the Temple of the Ancients, our ancestors were safe from the devastation that forced the other Rakata to flee underground. We emerged from the temple to find an empty and ruined land. So that answers that. At last we understood the terrible power of our own technology. To ensure it could never be unleashed upon us again, we sealed the ancient knowledge within the temple. I'd like to ask you about something else. What do you know about the other Rakata tribes here? Many centuries ago, the other Rakata began to emerge from the underground warrens, where they had sought shelter from the devastation of the warlords. These Rakata were as violent as the warlords. They had fled many millennia ago. After centuries of battle and bloodshed, the tribe of the One has emerged as the strongest of them all. Now the One, lured by half-remembered legends of his people, lusts to possess the power locked inside the temple. We can never allow that to happen. Have you tried reasoning with the One? When the One first arrived on this island, we sent emissaries under a flag of truce to try and negotiate with his tribe, but all our envoys were brutally slaughtered. We do have the technology to destroy the One and his followers, but if we kill them all, then we would only prove that we have learned nothing over the past 20,000 years. One is mad with power. We choose not to fight him, so our only course of action is to stay here in isolation where we are safe, just as we had done for the past 20,000 years. Yeah, this is the same dialogue as the guy out front, though. To ask you something else. So what do you know about the Temple of the Ancients itself? The temple is a sacred place of terrible secrets. All the dark mysteries of the Rakata are housed within its stone walls, which pulse with the living power of the Ancients. Only those who can command this power, what you call the Force, can enter the temple. Many centuries ago, there were still a few among us who could pass within its walls. But living in the shadow of the temple, we became desensitized to its power. As you said yourself the last time you were here, we Elders are no longer Force sensitive. So Revan recognized the fact that they had lost their Force power before. Interesting. Can any of the Rakata enter the temple then? None of the Rakata can control the Force now, but long ago there were those who could pass through the barrier. Our ancestors created the energy shield around the building as a second line of defense. The energy shield was created using technology within the temple itself. Once we helped you and Malak to get past the barrier, you discovered a way to lower the shields at will from within the temple itself. After this, you had no further need of us. The once hallowed ground of the temple is now overrun with the followers of Malak who can command the Force, those you call the Dark Jedi. Do you know how to disable the disruptor field that caused my ship to crash? Disruptor field is one of the ancient defenses of the Starforge. A great generator within the Temple of the Ancients fuels it. You will have to enter the temple to disable it. To ask you something else. Can you tell me anything about the Starforge? Much of our knowledge of the Starforge is lost. It was built during the height of the Infinite Empire, long ago. All we know now is that it casts a terrible shadow across our world. We Elders have longed to destroy the Starforge for many generations, to cleanse ourselves of its evil presence. But we have neither the knowledge nor the capability. When you and Malik last came here, we saw you as saviors. We let you into the temple so you could destroy the Starforge, but instead you harnessed its dark power for yourself. You awakened a dormant evil. Your fleet helped spread the corruption of the Starforge throughout the galaxy. Now you return as our last hope to stop what you once started. Is there anything else you can tell me? Well, I guess I should go now. Yes, of course. You have much to do, and little time to do it. But if you ever have any questions for me, I will be happy to try and answer them. Experience points received, 500. No journal entry. Some more information, though. You, sir, you've been shouting at this door for a long time. You having some trouble? Did you forget your keys? Here, let me get that for you. Here we have the Rakuten computer that we heard about earlier. At the very back of the Enclave right now. I like this layout is a little better than the other tribes, in my opinion. Holograms. So, the Red Rakuten still have access to the at least some of the technology of the Infinite Empire. They're still capable of using it. Go ahead and loot everything before we fuss with the computer. Alacrity, stamina, and spikes. More substance abuse in the remnants of the Infinite Empire. Wicker footlockers. Strength, alacrity, and parts. These canopic jars. Whoops. Excuse me. Try that again. Construction kit, spikes, and parts. Yeah, there must be a serious hacker segment coming up. We're getting a lot of supplies that I'm not sure what we're going to use them for. Another kit, more parts, more stamina. Strength, stamina, and construction kit. No. Got it, thanks. Trying to check the jars. Nope, nothing in those. Check them all real careful. Another wicker footlocker. Computer spikes, construction kits, stamina. Nothing in that one, nothing in that one. Oh, there's this one here. Stamina, strength, and computer spikes. Wonder if that console is going to let us do some magic. Alright, I don't think those other ones have anything in them. Yeah, nope. Can't do anything with the holograms. Nothing behind the door. Check out this computer. User verification. User species equals non-Rakuten. Access to auxiliary archives is restricted to Rakuten or approved servants. Slaves may not access the archives. I do serve the Rakuten. How else would I learn the language? Logical. User speaks the language of the Rakata in order to serve them. User added to authorization list of non-Rakata. Notice, further information can be obtained from the main archives within the Temple of the Ancients, downloading codes to bypass door exterior energy fields surrounding Temple. Well, that'd be convenient if we didn't even have to bother with these guys, but my archives are ready for information retrieval and download into remote datapad storage. Please select a topic. I'm looking for the secrets of the ancient Rakata. Can I find them here? Searching. Retrieving information. Secrets are locked within the Temple of the Ancients. The Elders sealed this information away to prevent this technology from falling into the wrong hands. How can I get into the temple? Searching. Retrieving information. The shields constructed by the Elders to guard the temple are controlled from the summit of the structure. Anyone inside the temple may temporarily shut down the shields. There is only one way to gain access to the temple from the outside. The shields are designed to lower in response to a ritualistic chant detailed in the ancient text held by the Keeper of History. Protect the secrets within the temple. The chant will only work if spoken by the Rakata. No other species can create the proper intonations that will trigger the shield deactivation. Good to know. I'd like to ask you something else. What can you tell me about the Starforge? Searching. Error. No information on Starforge detected. Information may be recorded in the data banks within the Temple of the Ancients. Tell me about the Temple of the Ancients. Searching. Retrieving information. The temple is a sacred place of ancient secrets. All the dark mysteries of the Rakata are housed within its stone walls, which pulse with the living power of the ancients. Only those who can command the Force can enter the temple. None among the Rakata still have this ability, but the Elders are seeking to breed a Force-sensitive being. I want to ask you something else. I want to know about the history of the Rakata. Searching, retrieving information. At its peak, the infinite empire of the Rakata ruled over 500 planets and was comprised of 10 billion Rakata and over 1 trillion slaves scattered across the galaxy. But over time, the empire grew weak and corrupt and turned against itself. Civil war, slave rebellions, the Great Plague spread across the galaxy. A plague, you say? Its origins were unknown. Perhaps the creation of an enslaved species, perhaps a mutation of a natural virus. It killed only Rakata, and it spread to every corner of the galaxy. The Infinite Empire crumbled into dust as the Rakata survivors fled back here to their homeworld, isolated and hidden from the rest of the galaxy. But even hidden here on this forgotten planet, they were not safe. Millions died from the deadly plague. Many more died in the never-ending civil war. The history of the Infinite Empire ended 20,000 years ago. Now the Rakata are nothing but a few scattered, primitive tribes battling for dominance and control. To ask you something else. Tell me about the Elders. The Elders are descended from the Rakata priest caste. When the Infinite Empire collapsed, the Elders isolated themselves on this island, far away from the rest of Rakata society. The Elders hid the secret technology of the Ancients within the temple, feeling it could be used to bring about the extinction of the Rakata species. fearing it could be used to bring about the extinction of the species. Deprived of the knowledge of the ancients, the other racket had degenerated into primitive tribes, engaged in constant warfare. Only the elders have preserved the true history of this world. Alright, I'd like to ask you something else. How can I shut off the disruptor field around this planet? Searching, retrieving information. The disruptor field is controlled by a generator within the Temple of the Ancients. Once inside the temple, the disruptor field may and the energy barrier around the temple can both be deactivated. I'd like to ask you something else. I guess I'll be going now. Please return should you require further information contained in the auxiliary archives. You're a little short for a hologram. Looked like it, to me. Anyway, yeah, so that's the history of the Infinite Empire. The proper history, the true history, TM. It's interesting, to say the least. Mapping, mapping, mapping. Just for funsies, go over here. Another elder here. Or maybe that's just the tribe, not an actual elder, you know what I mean? I think we're done here. There's nothing else for us to talk about. I could try and go back and talk to a couple of the other guys that you don't have anything else to say, do you, Keeper Orsaa? Yes, Revan, what do you need? To ask you some questions. Yeah, same as before. Gotta go. Turn on force speed, get us out of here a little quicker. Get some music back. I'll go and talk to the researcher guy again, just to make sure his dialogue hasn't changed. But I doubt it. You're the worshippers, so you're the religion, and you are the science. Where are you? There you are. Lawa. Yes, Revan, is there anything I can help you with? I guess I have to go now. Well, go as you please, yeah. Same stuff. No worries. Alright guys, before we go and start slaughtering the One's tribe, I'm going to pause the recording here. It has been going on for some time. It's good to break up the files because they get too big after a while. I shall be right back.